Breaking on Wink News, teachers behaving badly. 2 cases, 2 teachers facing serious accusations. First, this, an overnight crash, and now a driver's ed teacher under arrest for DUI.
And then there's this man, another Lee County teacher in trouble. Brand new details about accusations of sexual advances and manipulation involving students.
But breaking first on Wink News at 4, an early morning raid in Paris.
Right now, French police say the suspected mastermind of Friday's attack wasn't among those arrested. The siege ended with 2 people dead, including a woman who set off an explosive vest. 7 others were arrested, and we're learning police fired 5,000 rounds in that.
Wink News reporter Diane Gallagher is live in Paris with breaking new details.
And in hearing from the French prosecutor today, we learned some more details about that raid, but really just how chaotic and intense that situation was just before dawn here in Paris. Now, as far as the ISIS ringleader who apparently planned the Paris attacks on Friday and that attacker who got away, they are not one of the 8 people detained by police in that raid, which means they're either dead or still out there. In France, a country President François Hollande says is forced into battle with ISIS.
That we are at war.
Wednesday was a day to go on the offensive. Belgian and French police, along with security agencies, picked up on a telephone wiretap, leading them into an apartment in Saint-Denis, a northern Paris suburb not far from where the deadly stadium attack happened Friday. That wiretap suggested a relative of Abdelhamid Abaoud, the suspected Belgian ISIS ringleader on Friday's attacks, could be in the apartment. Now outside the building, a clear buildup. Heavily armed officers coming in by the truckload for an hours-long operation. Inside, a woman in another apartment hid with her baby.
They said to stay laid down on the floor, don't move, and turn off all lights, and that's what I did, and I hid.
She says gunfire and explosions shook the building until officials announced the raid was over.
A police operation that was particularly dangerous and heavy has just ended. 2 people died, including a woman by explosives.
Now officials say they will use DNA analysis to determine who was killed. Belgian state broadcaster RTBF reports that a woman who blew herself up in the operation is a cousin of Abaoud. CNN cannot confirm that reporting. President Hollande says that he will ask to extend France's state of emergency for 3 more months, giving authorities more powers in conducting searches and detentions. And just going back to what that French prosecutor talked about here, really, he painted a picture of just how intense that scene was. To give you an example, in addition to the suicide bomber, they exchanged gunfire for nearly an hour during that raid in that neighborhood. The floor caved in, fell through, and on top of that, they discovered more than 5,000 rounds of ammunition. Reporting live in Paris, I'm Diane Gallagher. Back to you.
Just the magnitude of that, Diane. Thank you. Breaking new details just in about a Cape Coral High School teacher, Doug Dingerson. He was fired yesterday, and now 24 hours later, we're learning more about why. Wink News reporter Adam Wright is here with brand new details in this investigation.
Amanda, Doug Dingerson was fired for inappropriate contact with students. We got this internal investigation report today from the school district. It contains hundreds of pages of interviews with several students, and the allegations are disturbing. They come mainly from female students on the Cape High track and field team, of which Dingerson was an assistant coach. Multiple students told investigators that Dingerson said he enjoyed watching people in pain, that he would watch students undress and make inappropriate sounds. They also said Dingerson would hug them for too long, making them uncomfortable, and would tell them regularly things like, quote, "You're just my type," and, quote, "Too bad you're too young." One student even said she was scared Dingerson was going to rape her. I tried to call Dingerson for comment today, but his number has been disconnected. We'll have more new details from this report on Wink News at 5. Bob?
Adam, thank you. And breaking now on Wink News, a Lee County teacher is under arrest for this overnight crash. And now Wink News is learning the driver's education teacher from Riverdale High is facing a DUI charge. Wink News reporter Nicole Valdez is live at 4 with new details of his arrest. Nicole?
Yeah, Bob, that teacher is out of jail today on bond, but witnesses here last night say he made quite the scene. They told deputies Richard Bull jumped the curb with his truck and landed into a ditch. But when deputies went to speak to Bull, he said somebody else was driving his truck, and that person took off.
Well, I was walking up and I see the guy, he's stumbling out of the car and he's like, everybody, like, what are you hitting my truck for?
Dominic Russ, a former student at Riverdale High, is talking about last night's encounter with his former teacher.
Yeah, so that guy was something else. He was really drunk though.
Russ says he saw Bull right after he drove his truck over a curb and into a ditch.
After all that, he starts yelling, goes inside, starts yelling at all the people, and he's like, who's gonna fix the damages on my truck? Why did you guys do this? I wasn't driving my truck, somebody else was.
Wink News was on scene last night as crews pulled the truck away. Today, in an arrest report from the sheriff's office, deputies say Bull had a blood alcohol level of 0.159.
He was driving. He was just really that drunk. He thought somebody else was driving the truck.
The Lee County School District says getting a DUI does not disqualify him from teaching, but said, quote, unique to this situation is the fact that Mr. Bull also teaches driver's education. As such, it is likely that he will be reassigned in the very near future. And he's now looking at 2 separate DUI charges, one including property damage to the newly paved curb he hit, but thankfully in all of this, nobody was hurt. Reporting live in Alva, I'm Nicole Valdez, Wink News, now.
Nicole, thank you. And right now, House Republicans are moving forward with a bill that would put new restrictions on allowing Syrian refugees into the U.S. President Obama hopes to allow 10,000 refugees into the country. The president says the refugees are already getting screened and pose no threat. But Republicans worry that members of ISIS will slip in with the refugees and potentially attack the U.S.
It is the height of lunacy for a government official to welcome in tens of thousands of refugees when we know that among them will be ISIS terrorists.
I'm not sure most congressmen are aware of the lengthy processes that are involved in immigration to the United States. It's not like the old days where you get off the boat.
The Obama administration says Syrians seeking asylum in the U.S. are thoroughly interviewed and even checked in databases, a process that can take up to 2 years to complete.
New developments on Wink News. A suspicious package found in North Naples is deemed safe. Several agencies were investigating a suspicious box near the intersection of Pine Ridge Road and Goodlett Frank Road. Pine Ridge was closed for hours. Collier County deputies say they opened the box and they didn't find anything suspicious. Wink News is learning the name of the victim who crashed his motorcycle Tuesday in Fort Myers. 52-year-old Diego Salazar was killed when he crashed in front of the Fowler Street Grill on Fowler Street and Corral Road. The crash shut down Fowler during the lunchtime commute. The cause of the crash is still under investigation.
New information on Wink News. A family's picking up the pieces after this fire destroyed their home. You can see the flames coming right through the roof.
It happened early this morning on Kenneth Road, just off McGregor Boulevard in Lee County. Now there's a massive hole in the roof, and the family is trying to decide what they'll do next. Wink News reporter Kim Powell is there live with the latest.
Yeah, this is a live overhead look at the home. You can see parts of the roof have caved in. The homeowner tells me that the fires started in the garage and quickly spread, but luckily they were all able to get out safely.
I could see flames. That's a 2-story house next door, and we could see flames above that.
Jim Wilson lives several doors down, but said the commotion from the early morning fire woke him up.
I woke up because I seen reflection of lights on my window there, and when I looked out, there was emergency vehicles from one end to the other.
The homeowner tells Wink News he woke up to a popping sound in the garage and noticed there was a fire. He then woke his wife up, grabbed their dog, and got out before the fire quickly spread.
The first thing was, are they okay? Did they make it? And by the grace of God, they did.
The family says they're not sure if any of their antiques or mementos are salvageable. Neighbors say they're already collecting donations for them.
The fact that they made it out alive is a blessing, it's a celebration, but now hopefully they won't feel that they have to pick up the pieces by themselves, that they know that they have family and that they have this neighborhood. We're a very close-knit neighborhood.
Now, the family has been sitting out here all day waiting for the adjuster to arrive. They say they're all okay and will be staying at a family's home. Reporting live in Fort Myers, I'm Kim Powell, Wink News. Now.
Kim, thank you. Now on Wink News, the city of Bonita Springs is getting involved in the search for a site for a new high school. Wink News first told you the school board's now looking at other sites after backlash from seniors from a community near I-75 and Bonita Beach Road. Wink News is learning the two other sites the district's considering are in areas specifically set aside for environmental conservation. The city voted unanimously to send a letter to Lee County and the school board telling them where it stands.
Number one, we want a high school. We want them to look at all the sites in the city again, but not to preclude looking at DRGR property.
The city manager says they want to do whatever they can to make sure Bonita gets the high school it was promised.
Heading home, you may have seen this rolling down the road today. Wink News explains where this iconic piece of history is heading and why.
Plus, achieving your dreams, a Pearl Harbor veteran's heading back to the deadly scene, hoping to share his story, and it's all thanks to you. Wink News explains how his dream was made possible.
And I've been watching that cold front moving in across the deep south right now. This will be arriving later this week. When I come back, we'll time it out for you. We'll talk about the chance of rain into the weekend.